How's it going, folks? Hope we're all doing absolutely fantastic. Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and today we are bringing you our post-patch FC25 custom tactics. Let's just address the elephant in the room in case you haven't seen or seen elsewhere. No beard, just mustache. We are doing Movember, raising money for charity. I'll put a link in the description. If anyone wants to take a look, support us in any way possible, that'd be greatly appreciated. Don't think we look too bad. Either way, let's jump in to the tactic that we are going to be talking to you about today. It is going to be the staple 4-4-2. It's something that I've predominantly used pretty much this year. Code is on screen for you right now. Z4Y7WTCFJ2P. Say it out because some people struggle to see them. And this is going to be what we are running. So it very much defends in a 4-4-2, obviously. And to be fair, it basically attacks in a 4-4-2. Now, one thing I do want to touch on, I have been obviously a massive fan of running our fullbacks on defend. I think you almost have to do it because even though they did address it in a patch a few patches ago, the defenders still split slightly. It leaves a massive gap in the middle. So if you're finding that when you've got, say, attacking wing back or fullback balanced on both sides and you're getting hit on the counter, definitely change it so you have one fullback on defend because they tuck in, they make themselves nice and narrow, and then you can have one that's on balanced. It's fine if you have them both on defend. You just need to manually bring your fullbacks forward. We have a lot of coaching sessions at the minute with our students where they don't use their fullbacks enough. That's something I really recommend you to do. Get the attack going with them. So we run sweeper keeper on Courtois. If you have a keeper that has sweeper keeper, I'd recommend it. If you don't, I still think it's okay. It's fine to do. Only because if people want to look for that over the top through ball, you want to be obviously there to obviously try and deal with that. Both of the centre backs on defender, nothing complicated here. Even though you might have someone with ball playing defender, I just find defend is the best for your centre backs. That's what I like the most. Maicon I want up and down. I have him on full back on balance. Now you all know that when we look at Maicon, I could have him on wing back, full back, or attacking wing back plus. Attacking wing back is obviously very aggressive. I'm happy with just leaving him on the one that he doesn't have the player role in as the plus and just having him kind of getting up and down on there for us. Now we do run Patelis on this right-hand side, sorry, and then Roberto on that left-hand side. Roberto box-to-box, Patelis playmaker. I'm doing this specifically because of their player roles. If you are unsure or maybe you're getting caught on the counter a lot, I'd massively recommend running holding and defend on both of your centre mids and then manually bringing them forward yourself. This will help you deal with a counter attack. But it obviously means you don't really have any threat from range. You don't really have anyone, you know, Patelis looking for a finesse or a Travella or looking for that first time pass into the 18-yard box, whatever it may be. So do think about that with your centre mids that you've got. I do think this year you don't necessarily need like big out and out centre mids. You know how like before we might want to run like Patrick Vieira, Declan Rice, Kante, just your big holding DMs. I think they can be useful, but I much prefer having CMs at the minute that are agile on the ball, can play with the ball out at their feet, you know, distribute it out. Whereas I think when you get caught in the middle with those big boys, it makes it a little bit difficult for you. Malin, I've gone inside forward and balanced, and then Vinny, I go balanced and winger. The reason why I do this is I like one to offer width and I like one coming in as we build up into that transition into the attack and into that final third. So as you can see, Malin just slots in between the fullback, linking up ever so nicely with Patelis and Nunes and just doing what they need to do. Now, I run two big strikers up front. And the reason for this is I like crossing. You don't necessarily need to run two yourself, but I think having one is decent. If you have someone like Erling Haaland, Poacher plus annoys me to an extent because I feel like it takes away the fundamentals, let's say, of the way that you want to look to play into those strikers. So when I have the ball with Patelis, say 25 yards out, and I lay the ball back from Malin into Patelis, I'm basically looking for a first-time pass into Haaland because he will be sitting so much in an offside position, he'll be beating the defensive line, that he just catches the defenders out, especially when people are running a high line this year. It's a gamble, right? Sometimes they will be offside, but the majority of the times, it'll just about be onside. So if you do have Poacher plus, that's something that I would recommend you to keep an eye out for. Darwin Núñez does have target forward plus. I'm not a massive fan of it, to be honest with you. I like them both sitting on the defensive line, looking to get in behind, looking to break that high defensive line. If this was someone who was a little bit more nimble on the ball, I wouldn't mind it so much. But Núñez and Haaland are both pretty much trucks. I run Núñez on advanced forward plus rather than poacher. I don't like both strikers on poacher. One on advanced forward, one on poacher does me to a treat. So that's how it runs. Now, this is where I think you can kind of do as you please. Well, I say do as you please. It comes in the defensive approach. Build-up style, I just think balance is the best. Balance gives you absolutely the best of everything. And that's how it's been on FC and FIFA for years, I think. Some people, yes, will be like, oh, let's run counter and let's really look to hit on those over-the-top through balls and through balls down the wing. Some people want to come to feet. I used to run short passing on my 4-4-2s, but balance has just kind of been the best of everything for me. So that's the reason why I run that, and I think that will work for you as well. And this is where you can do, I think, as you want, all right? So many people right now are running in excess of 90 depth and just having a super high line, the automatic offside trap. It's making it very, very difficult for people to play in behind for. And the reason why this strategy works is because defensive recovery rate is a joke. Even still on post-patch, it's a joke. So when you get, Vinny in behind or Mbappe in behind, Van Dijk recovers so quickly that it doesn't really matter how high of a line you run if you get caught. That's how obviously you try and deal with a high line. You look to play in behind. You look to play over the top. That's why people are running it. If you want to run that, feel free. If you want to go a little bit in between, I think around 70 depth can be fine for you. Myself, I mix between the two dependent on the game. So I start off on 56 depth. And if I feel I've got the advantage on the opponent or I don't think they can look to counter into that behind, then I'll go and change this and actually go a bit more aggressive and look to really compress them in, make that press super aggressive and make it really difficult for them to play into. So that's how I operate in that 4-4-2 defensive approach at the minute. If you are on old gen, everything else can be the same, but the defensive approach, I'd probably just be running about 45, 50 depth. Old gen is such an open game. It's such an old game now, It's what, FIFA 22.3, I think. Is it 22 when old gen and new gen came out? I can't remember. But either way, it's not had a massive update, obviously. It doesn't have hypermotion on it. It's very, very different. It's very, very old. But obviously, there are still plenty of players that are still stuck on old gen. So that's why, obviously, we do talk about it briefly in there. So that's what I run. And that's what I start the formation in. Now, if I obviously want to change the formation and be a bit more aggressive, I do tend to move into like 4-2-4s, but I do that all manually. 4-2-4 is a bit buggy though, and that sort of stuff. So yeah, but that's predominantly what I've been playing. The reason why I've not been a massive fan of the FCIQ tactic system this year is that if you want to change this and say, okay, I want to move into a 4-2-3-1 narrow, you can't do it because Vinny can't play centre attacking mid. Malin can't play centre attacking mid. Like, this is why I've played predominantly 4-4-2 this year. Because it's just not the easiest to move people around and change people. You have to almost change up your whole team. And that gets a little bit frustrating in my opinion. So, that's a conversation for another day. Anyway, all right. Thank you all very much for watching. Let me know how you find it down below in the comments. Any questions, pop them down below and I'll try and get back to you if I can. And yeah, thank you all for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.